You're watching BCTV. We're all about Branford.
What do I need?
You're watching BCTV, Branford Government Television, a service of Branford Community Television. This program is brought to you in part through the support of the town of Branford.
Good evening. The February 14th meeting of the Branford RTM is called to order at 8:01 p.m. First order of business is roll call. Oh, I'm sorry, is the Pledge of Allegiance. So let's rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Mr. Clerk,
Yes.
want to take over?
This program was brought to you
Roll
in
call, please.
Representative Adams.
Present.
Representative Edelman.
You're watching
Representative
BCTV.
Alphone.
Here.
Representative, Moderator Amori.
I'm here.
Representative Anderson. Here. Representative Black.
Here.
Representative Bonenberger.
Here.
Representative Brooks.
Present.
Representative Dayhill. Representative Everson.
Here.
Representative Greenberg.
Here.
Representative Hartwell.
Here.
Representative Henschel.
Here.
Representative Hines.
Here.
Representative Ingraham.
Here.
Representative Keefe. Absent. Representative Leach. Absent. Representative Larson.
Present.
Representative Lafredo. Absent. Representative Maresca.
Here.
Representative McCall.
Here.
Representative McCormick.
Here.
Representative Newpayne. Absent. Representative Papaluzio.
Here.
Representative Sharkey. Representative Shrestha.
Here.
Representative Sumro.
Here.
Representative Toohill. Present. Representative Verderam.
Here.
Representative Waterman.
Here.
And ex officios, I see First Selectman Cosgrove, and I see Selectman Higgins. I see Town Clerk Arpin. We have a quorum, Madam Moderator.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Is Representative Toohill. Okay. Item number 3 on the call is reception of communications, reports of committees, and citizen petitions. Oh, I did. Sorry. I'm sorry. Item number 2, approval of the minutes of January 10th, 2024 meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Yes, second.
Okay. The minutes are approved. Okay, now we'll move on.
You have to vote.
Oh, sorry. Do we vote? We'll have a vote to approve the minutes, please. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thanks. Sorry, I just missed it on the call. Okay, reception of communications, reports of committees, and citizen petitions. We have received 2 pieces of correspondence. The first is from Representative Peter Henschel from RTM 2nd District and Chair of Rules and Ordinances, and I will read that communications. To the moderator, I would request that the RTM refer the following actions to the Rules and Ordinances Committee for consideration. Please refer each item as a separate action. To consider, and if appropriate, approve an amendment to the Town Code, Chapter 17, Cosgrove Animal Shelter Commission, Section 17.2, membership, to remove the reference to the town of North Branford. Item number 2, to consider, and if appropriate, approve an amendment to the Town Code to change RTM Rule E8.5, amending, altering, or suspending the rules, to suspension of the rules to require a supermajority to suspend the rules. 3, to consider and if appropriate, approve an amendment to the town code. To change RTM Rule E 8.5, amending, altering, or suspending the rules. 1, alteration or amendment of the rules to require a supermajority to alter or amend the rules. 4, to consider and if appropriate, approve an amendment to the town code, RTM Rule C, Rule 4.3, Committee Responsibilities General, to clarify and coordinate long-standing references to reports and more recent requirements for meeting minutes. These items are referred to the Rules and Ordinances Committee to be considered and voted on individually. Thank you. Okay. The second item is in correspondence. It's from Representative Peter Black and Deputy Registrar, and Registrars Jeff Rowan and Darren Lawler. Per Public Act 23.5, an act implementing early voting, Connecticut will have early voting for the first time in our presidential preference primary. The primary itself will be held Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024. Early voting will be from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on March 26th, 27th, 28th, and 30th. No voting will be held on Good Friday, March 29th, which is a state holiday. Per the Public Act, the town's legislative body, i.e. the RTM, must determine whether or not more than one early voting location will be used. Accordingly, we ask that the following item be placed on the next RTM agenda. Designation of Joe Trapasso Community House as sole early voting location, and that the RTM confirm that Branford will use only one early voting location. We'll ask for a unanimous consent to add this item to the call as number 4 on the agenda, as a request by the Registrar of Voters asking that the RTM confirm that Branford will use only one early voting location as outlined in their correspondence. Are there any that object to this addition? Here.
Moderator?
Yes.
You're adding it to tonight's agenda?
Yes.
Before we make it number 4, can I just make a motion that we possibly move up item number 5 to number 4? I know there's a couple of parents and a few young people here that want to speak to item number 5 tonight. It's a school night, just to help get them out of here.
Well, there won't be speaking to item number 5. That will be referred. So any speaking on that will be under new business.
We won't be taking comments on the agenda item.
Not if it's a referral.
I've never seen a referral on the agenda before. This is an agenda item.
Yes, it is.
Take action on tonight, correct?
And the action is to refer it.
Maybe I'm missing something, but I've never seen an agenda item that we're not going to actually take action on at this level.
Point of
It is
the procedure.
information, Madam
Yes.
Moderator. This discussion is a little early.
Well,
Until we bring up item 5, what the action is remains to be seen. So it may be, my guess is it will be referred, and that's not, all correspondence from the Board of Finance that come to us, it comes to us from the Board of Finance. It always goes on the call, and then we refer it to committee.
That's right.
No different than this, but again, we're a little premature because we haven't decided if the motion hasn't been made to refer it yet, so we'll have to see when item 5 comes up.
well, I think, can I be heard?
Representative Toohill,
Yes,
yes.
thank you, Madam Moderator. The way I see it is that, so the way the procedure would work would be that, right, we have to have, the first thing that's got to be done is Representative Alphone has to make the motion, which has to be seconded, and then it has to be voted on to move item 5 up to item 4. That would be the proper procedure. So would you like to move it, Representative Alphone? And I will second it.
Yes, absolutely. I'd like to make the motion just to move up agenda item number 5 to number 4.
Okay, is there a second?
I will.
Yes.
You have those, Frank? You have them? You have the, okay. All right, then we'll have a vote on moving item 5 up to take the place of item 4.
And I would like to request that we do it by roll call, please.
Okay, a roll call vote.
Representative Adams.
Approve.
Representative Edelman.
Approve.
Representative Alphone.
Yes.
Representative Amore.
Yes.
Representative Anderson.
Yes.
Representative Black.
Yes.
Representative Bonenberger.
Yes.
Representative Brooks.
Yes.
Representative
I'm so thrown
Cahill.
off tonight.
Representative Everson.
Yes.
Representative Greenberg. Representative Hartwell. Representative Henschel.
Yes.
Representative Hines.
Yes.
Representative Ingraham.
Yes.
Representative Keefe.
Absent.
Absent, sorry.
We're still on agenda item number 3.
Representative Larson.
Yes.
Representative Maresca.
Yes.
Representative McCall.
Yes.
Representative McCormick.
Yes.
Representative Papaluzio.
Yes.
Representative Sharkey.
Yes.
Representative Shrestha.
Yes.
Representative Sumro.
Yes.
Representative Toohill votes yes. Representative Verderam.
Yes.
And Representative Waterman.
Yes.
Okay, it's
Would you,
unanimous.
yes, would you take my vote off there? I'm not supposed to vote.
Oh, that's right. Right. Thank you.
Okay,
Point of information, though, we're still on item number 3,
yes,
so we have to finish that before we discuss item
I was
number
just going to make that
4.
motion.
yes. Okay, are there any objections to adding the agenda item regarding the early voting to the tonight's call? Any objections?
You have to make a motion and then, the same procedure.
I'd like
No.
to make that motion, that we add that to the call
I second.
as item number
It's a
5.
unanimous consent, we do not need to move it.
Never voted by unanimous.
But it's allowed in the rules, we've researched it today, so,
Never been used. Unanimous consent. If there's no objection, it then proceeds. It takes 10 seconds.
You need a motion.
no, you don't.
If there's no objection. It's deep in the book. The moderator proceeds with the consent. But it takes 10 seconds to do it the way we've been doing it.
We have consent to add it to the agenda. Do we also need a motion and a second to add it to the agenda?
Yeah, I mean.
We don't, by the rules.
By past practice, we've always,
All right, by past practice, do I hear a motion to add this to tonight's agenda?
you have the motion,
Okay.
by Representative Brooks and then Representative Ingraham seconded.
Okay.
So just,
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It is added to the agenda as item number 5. Correct? Number 5.
yeah.
Well, we've already switched items number 4 and 5, so it would have to be item number.
No, it would be 5. It was going to be 4. So, okay. All right. So, item number 5 on the agenda. To consider and act upon the following proposed resolution. A resolution amending resolution authorizing an appropriation of $325,000 for the police headquarters.
No.
No.
We moved.
We moved,
Moderator, excuse me, point of order.
yes.
Are we finished with number 3, communications? Because there are 2 letters from the Board of Finance referencing the Board of Finance approval of the 2 bonding.
Yes, that's what those were on the agenda already.
Typically, they read it and then refer it. They
Yeah.
put it on the agenda.
It's on the agenda.
Item 3, can I be heard?
Yes,
Okay. Thank you, Madam Moderator. Going back to item 3, so the clerk also received those 2 letters that you received, but the clerk also received from Public Services Committee, from Representative Bonenberger, I just received the minutes And I also received the minutes from Representative Lafredo from Education.
Okay, thank you. All right, gotcha. Okay, so item number 4. A resolution amending resolution authorizing,
That's item 5.
That's the new item.
that is now 4, right?
But you can just.
We just wanted to move,
The fields, the
You- all right.
request was to move the fields. The numbers have gone all askew.
okay.
So
So
the,
that would have been item 6. We were going to move to item 4. So, all right. To consider and act on the following proposed resolution. Resolution authorizing an appropriation of $7,650,000 for the Walsh Intermediate School WIS Field Improvement Project and the financing of said appropriation by the issuance of general obligation bonds of the town and notes in anticipation of such bonds in an amount not to exceed $7,650,000 $7,650,000 therefore, is hereby adopted and recommended for approval by the representative town meeting. This was received from the Board of Finance and will be referred to Public Services, to Administrative Services and Ways and Means Committee, and will be heard in depth at their March meetings. Ways and Means, your meeting will be held on,
Ways and Means is going to meet at 7 o'clock in the community house on March 6th to look at this agenda item.
thank you, and Administrative Services?
Ms. Moderator, Administrative Services will be on March 5th of this year, also in the Community House.
At 7 o'clock?
7 o'clock.
Okay,
Madam Moderator,
yes.
just a point, I'm curious as to the referral to Administrative Services. This is an education item in Ways and Means, and maybe a Rec Department item, and the Rec Department falls under Ways and Means as well, so
We
what's...
talked that over, but it came through the Selectman's office, so we,
So anything that comes through the Selectman's office is okay?
it can be, yes. So, okay, so that is referred. There are also,
Moderator, I'd like to make a motion to waive Rule 441 so we could have discussion on this evening. I know that there's parents and some children that come out to the meeting to speak on this. So I'd like to waive 441 just so that we can have discussion on this tonight. We don't necessarily have to vote on it. We may end up re-referring it, but at least have some discussion. So the parents that came out didn't come out for nothing.
okay, do we have a second on that motion?
Point
Okay,
of order.
Yes.
This is going to be a majority vote.
okay.
Can I?
For now.
Yes, Representative Brooks.
Before we vote on the, can I have a discussion on that vote before we vote on that?
Sure.
Can I make the suggestion? And I know this is gonna be, I don't know, and somebody can correct me. If we waive 441, we could technically vote on that. And I don't think that's appropriate. So I would vote
waives the
against
committee
waiving
review.
441. What I would vote for, in the interest of what we're speaking about, is moving agenda item number 7 up to have that discussion now. Does that make better sense? Because 441 is a very different situation here. That changes sending it to, that would make it so you don't send it to committee, if I understand it, to have the discussion via committee.
Go ahead.
But if you vote it down, it's over.
Madam Moderator.
Yes.
Could I ask
Oh.
parliamentarian Peter Henschel, Rule 441 as I understand it,
They're
yeah.
proceeding right now. And right now, there's a request that 441 does, and I think we should carry out that vote to see whether there is a majority that wishes to 441
Okay.
the rules, which is where we are right now. That motion has been made.
Yeah.
So let's have a vote.
Let's request a roll call, please.
Okay, roll call vote has been called.
Representative Adams?
No.
I'm sorry, what's
No.
that? Okay, that's a no? Okay. Representative Edelman?
No.
Representative Alphone?
Yes.
Representative Anderson? Representative Black?
Yes.
Representative Bonenberger?
Representative Bonenberger votes no to the 441.
Representative Brooks?
No.
Representative Dayhill? Representative Everson?
No.
Representative Greenberg?
Yes.
Representative Hartwell?
No.
Representative Henschel?
No.
Representative Hines?
Yes.
Representative Ingraham?
Yes.
Representative Larson?
No.
Representative Maresca?
Yes.
Representative McCall?
No.
Representative McCormick?
No.
Representative Papalizio?
Yes.
Representative Sharkey?
Yes.
Representative Shrestha?
No.
Representative Sumro?
No.
Representative Toohill votes yes. Representative Verderam?
Yes.
Representative Waterman?
No.
Rule 441 will not be suspended for this evening. Representative Brooks, did you have another motion about moving another item on the agenda?
With your support, I gladly move any business to agenda item number 7.
No,
where
number
that-
8. It's number 8.
To agenda number 8, which old
No.
agenda number 7, to now, to have that discussion, if you want to second that.
I will second that if you made a motion.
Did you make the motion?
Yes. Yes, we did. He made the motion. It's seconded? Mm-hmm. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, new business to come before, any other business to come before the RTM will start now. So if there is any new business to be brought by the RTM, members of the RTM? Any? Any members of the public? Are you the mom? Okay, they have to say their names? Okay, great.
Hi, my name is Will Herney and I'm a 3rd grader. I've been playing lacrosse since I was in kindergarten. I love lacrosse, but it's really hard to play at a dog park. They play on nicer fields in other towns. Our town has excellent coaches, and if we got nicer fields, we would be unstoppable. Pretty please support all the athletes in Branford.
Thank you, Will. Do either of you want to say something? Say your name, honey.
Hi, my name is Aria, and I agree with Will because I think we should have nicer fields because all the other towns do.
Thank you very much, Aria. And number 3?
My name is August. I agree with Will. We should have nicer fields.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All set? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other members of the public?
Hi, guys. My name is Paul Raccio. I coach lacrosse in Branford, on the board of Branford Lacrosse. As you heard, we do in fact play in a dog park. It's honestly, I think the biggest thing of note for Branford lacrosse, obviously all sports are impacted by this, but it's actually physically dangerous for our children at this park. I don't know, you guys know Young's Pond? You walk it, go around, take a look. we have other towns. This year, we won't have a couple towns come to play us. We'll play them twice at their town. And that's fine. That's not what this is about. But they won't come. And they won't come because, and I understand why they won't come. They won't come because there's just no place else for us to play, unfortunately, for the lacrosse program. But the football team, I don't think, when they get on the turf, that's fine, obviously. But, at the middle school is no better. And we need better, and obviously they deserve better. So, but we should probably give them better. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. And again, I would encourage people in the public to attend the committee meetings and express your thoughts in the committee meetings as well, which is where the initial votes will take place.
Hi,
Hi.
My name is Danielle Lipkovich. I'm also here tonight just to voice my disappointment that our improvements and our fielding is being a bit delayed. It's a huge deal when it comes to fields, and every single day that we extend this counts. As the warm weather passes, so do our chances to build these fields for our kids. I'm here tonight to remind you that this is not just about fields. This is about a vital thing that our kids need to support the future of Branford. I'm here first and foremost for my 2 young boys, but as an educator here. You have to understand that our kids are growing up in a totally different world than the one we grew up in. Technology, social media, although have their positives, are negatively impacting our kids in so many ways. As a parent, and especially as an educator, I see this every single day. I see our kids' need for instant gratification, their low stamina, difficulties navigating social interactions. And what breaks my heart the most is the poor self-esteem that these kids have these days. It's really, really heartbreaking. Sports help all of this. It gets kids off devices, gets them physically healthier, it instills vital life skills that they are lacking. It fosters teamwork. It helps them to learn how to fail in a safe place and learn how to rise above it. It teaches them dedication, resilience, and most importantly, it helps them to believe in each other and themselves. We have people, many of whom are behind me right now, who are incredibly dedicated to our kids. We have coaches, we have board members, we have parents who are all willing to support these kids, but we need the starter, which is our fields. We're really, really, really asking for your support in this. Our kids deserve better in this town, and we can start to make this happen for them. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is David Felsigno. I'm a resident here in Branford with 3 children, one of which has graduated from Branford High. I have 2 currently in Walsh. Unfortunately, one is in 8th grade and she will not be at Walsh to benefit from the fields that are proposed here tonight. I am a little upset, and I'll tell you why I'm a little upset. Because this has been going on for a very long time. And I understand that there's been a shift in power, whether it's red or blue, I get it. This item is not a red or blue issue, guys. This is about them. These kids that just came up here and had the courage to come and speak to you. There's a problem. That field is horrendous. It's been in need for years. And not for nothing, the 2 gentlemen that are sitting behind me, and I hate to stick them out, but Mr. Cosgrove and Mr. Paluzzi have put a lot of time, effort, and work into this. And the longer you delay it, the more it goes further down the line. Construction costs go up, labor costs go up, materials go up. Just keep that in mind, all right? And I understand there's been a shift and everybody wants to pump their chest. I get that. But this is not about that. This is about these kids. They need it. Give it to them. Thank you.
Good evening. Dave Reddick, 10 Castle Rock. I just left the Board of Ed meeting, so that's why I gave my address. Everyone has different rules. In that meeting, they're talking about charging our kids $5, $10, $15 to play on our own fields. Is that what this has become? I coached football 30 years ago when my sons were young at Walsh. That field has not been touched since 1975. How many remember there was a baseball field there? It's gone. Why? Drainage. That whole right side is a swamp. Can't be used. You want to use the main field? It's probably the only golf course Branford has. There's so many divots from people playing golf, or if you want to dive around the dog in the duck crap. In 1995, when I was coaching, there was talk about turfing Walsh Field. I have one question for this group. It has passed unanimously, up to date. The Finance Board on the 29th pushed it up. And I hear this board refused to hear it on the 7th. You pushed it up till March. Why? Most of you were here when it passed the first time. I'm not trying to be mean. If you were recently elected, you knew this was an item. Anyone has a problem with this item tonight, raise your hand. Tell these people what the problem is. I don't deal in politics. You're hurting the young kids of this town. Anyone here want to give me one new sports facility in this town has added in 40 years? The answer is 0. Even adding Walsh turf fields does not add fields. It just makes 2 usable. Our kids have suffered enough with COVID. And now, because of politics, we're going to delay this. And if you delay it too long, we miss another year. And if we miss that year, you will not have space for our kids to play sports this year. Forget the politics. Do what's right. The people want it. It's been passed unanimously. I don't care what color you are. Do the right thing. Thank you.
Hi, Jennifer Orlando, here, Branford resident, mom, board member, PTA, sports boards, you name it. I've gotten involved because I have passion for this. So back when COVID was, I tackled and petitioned Hamlet Hernandez. So we are milestones past that, and when an $88.2 million school went in place, and I said, where's the funding for the fields? What are you going to do? They were resuming as is. So the people behind me have already channeled how behind the times it was, and Mr. Cosgrove and Mr. Paluzzi had to go forth with putting a plan together. And you heard Mr. Finch a couple weeks ago even say how he could move $2 million over, that was still left from this project. So sitting here and saying anything somebody else has said, we're hurting programs in this town. People are leaving. You will not have people are looking at Madison. They're looking at Guilford. They don't even want to live here anymore. And I'm telling you that from the amount of people that I know. Okay? There's better things out there. So if we want to delay this and have 4 or 5 sports organizations skip their season next season, I feel like the wrath is you're not going to have taxpayers in this town. So it's far bigger than what you think. So I don't know who's looked at it that way or what way. I strongly urge, the divide in here is very clear. You could see it when the moderator was trying to talk and how divided, it's really sad. We are one town in one place, and we should be doing things equally. I'm equally for arts and all kinds of things, being a PTA president in town and things like that, that getting bombarded by sports, it should be a no-brainer, because this particular project opens up to facilitate more space for these outdoor things where we have to go to other programs in other towns because they have the facilities. You know, what's going to happen when Branford High School needs to do maintenance? What are we going to do? Is the RTM going to decide or work with whoever's in office at that time to do it all at once and take all the facilities down? We are already back to back to back to back. If anybody knows anything about facilities, ask. So delay this. If this doesn't go to vote and pass and it skips a season, we're really, really hurting each other. So, and if you don't have grandchildren or children, just think about your neighbor's kids. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dave Mallett. I'm here on behalf of Branford Youth Football as the board president, speaking up for all of our players and the kids of this town. Time is of the essence. This project has been reviewed and studied for years now. It went through the proper review process and was approved by the Board of Finance. We cannot afford to delay this any longer. Once the weather breaks, the contractor needs to start demo and construction so fall sports can have a field. Not only for our football players, but also for the other sports, as mentioned by Paul back there. You know, I do understand that, you know, there's new members of the RTM and, you know, there might be some political posturing going on, you know, but please, save it for something else down the line. This is important. I urge you on behalf of the players in the BYF program to put this to a vote tonight so we can move forward in a timely manner. Thank you.
Hold on a second. Anybody else from the public wish to speak right now? Okay. Recognize Representative Brooks, please.
Hi, my name is Josh Brooks, representative of the 2nd District, for any of you who don't know. I just want to respond to some of the things because for some reason, I feel like we are being looked at as if we're doing something abnormal or wrong. I've been on the RTM for pretty much
14 years.
seven terms, so I'm not a new member. And something like this, where we're talking about $7.6 million, has always gone from the Board of Finance, come to the full RTM, and then got referred out to a subcommittee. Never once in my recollection have I seen a 441 of $7.6 million. I'm a big proponent of 441, but only for $400. So that's one. Two, I don't feel like we're divided. I just think it's appropriate. I think it's appropriate that we look at the item in the time frame that is traditional. So we give everyone an opportunity, like yourselves, to speak on it. Somebody told you to come here. Somebody told you that this was happening. You didn't read about this in the press because it hasn't been in the press. It hasn't been advertised. My wife and I had a conversation about this a few days ago, about this whole thing. And I said, oh, we're referring this, and she said, well, Walsh needs new fields. And I said, well, I agree. We need to have that discussion. We need to look at this. I mean, I remember sitting at the Board of Ed meeting in October about this. So this process has been going on for years. Why is it going to go from the Board of Finance and then 2 weeks later, this body is going to vote on it? That's not usually how these things go. We did not delay this process. We are doing what we are advertising to the public, that this is going to happen on these dates, and then next month on the second Wednesday of the month, we will vote on whether or not the fields will be built. So back to my wife, I explained this to her. This is how the process goes. And then she asked, well, how much is it? $7.6 million. My wife's immediate reaction was no. I work with local kids, all Branford kids, all went to Walsh Intermediate School, every single one of them. And every single one of them who will be parents in this community, without question. All of them said, that's a lot of money for the fields. I'm not saying that that means I'm against it or anything else. I'm saying that there are other voices. We need to give those other voices an opportunity through this process to speak. That's all I'm saying. As for the gentleman that said no new athletic fields have been built in the town of Branford in 40 years. Well, there was actually an athletic facility that was built. It was a skate park. Who helped build that skate park? I'm not going to say any names, but they took that skate park down. Why are we not having that discussion about a skate park then? To replace that. That's my axe to grind. We'll do that later. So again, I don't know why or who or when we became somehow over here, like we were doing something wrong. This is the process. It's a lot of money. It should go through the process that traditionally has always gone through since long before this administration or this dynamic of this body.
Madam Moderator?
Yes.
Madam Moderator, just to elaborate more on, I have a microphone, what Representative Brooks brought. We
Would you
do.
identify yourself?
I don't have to identify myself.
I didn't, no, I have to identify you, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Representative Ingram.
Okay. We've, since even over the last 10 years and then 4 years before that I was on the RTM, we've referred straight to the committees from the Board of Finance. It was no matter of party, it went straight on. We had an $88 million school go straight from Board of Finance to the next Ways and Means meeting. We discussed it, we re-referred it to say that we want to delay it because we don't have enough information yet, which is easily done. And then we talked about it at the next RTM meeting. We referred it again to the subcommittee. We did that twice, 3 times. So that has been the process. Here, people were expecting Board of Finance. Last week, we would meet with a couple committees. We would probably re-refer it because it's a big item. This and the police station, both big items, that we might have to take more time. But because we didn't meet last week, which is the time we get the information from these people, time we get the information from the committees, the time that we do it in the public is at our meeting. Do we all do a heck of a lot of work privately? Talking to the police chief, talking to Al, talking to Jamie? Yes. But the time that we can have with the public is with us in our meetings. That's why it feels like a push off the next month. We spent a whole month not talking about it. Luckily, people came out, people asked when it was. The reason why I referred to why is it on the call, we talk about everything that's on our call. We don't just refer it and say, okay, it's going to the committee. If it's being referred, it'll come off a piece of paper at the moderator says, I'm putting it on the next call. It was put on the call. People got a notice. They got it in the newspaper. Thank you.
Representative Black?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Again, I'll just reiterate what Ray was saying, and as the late Queen Elizabeth said, recollections may vary. We've always picked these items up straight off of the Board of Finance call, even when they're major items. There's no reason that they couldn't have done that. That doesn't mean that we'd be acting on it tonight, but we'd be fleshing out or flushing out rather, questions that we may want answers to. Sometimes at the committee, we have questions that come up and we're able to get answers to them within the next week. There hasn't been that opportunity because the committee chair chose not to put it on his agenda, and I gather that was perhaps decided in private behind closed doors before we had a chance to discuss anything. But it's been the practice to start acting on things as soon as possible. My hope going forward is we don't necessarily wait until the first Monday, or first Wednesday for Ways and Means to hear this, but we have a special meeting soon. This is a major item. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of information, but we can have special meetings so that we're ready to act on it at the minimum at the next full March meeting. The construction season is coming up. We should be sending this out to bid. We shouldn't be dilly-dallying with this. We should be getting our information and taking action. Thank you.
Madam Moderator.
Yes. Representative Verderano.
Just very briefly, I don't want to reiterate and hash out what's already been said, but I do want to note that we did vote to add an agenda item this evening that we will absolutely need to vote on because this is affecting March, is affecting voting. This item wasn't heard in committee, and yet we are voting on it this evening because of the urgency of it. And yet we are delaying two critical votes that are also urgent. So I can't help but note the irony of that. I'm sorry.
A response? Yes.
Okay.
Representative Brooks.
Fair enough. Maybe, you know, again, but now we're playing politics. This is $7.6 million, and that side of the aisle was well aware that it was not on the Ways and Means thing, and yet you didn't decide, like we decided tonight, that you're gonna, like somehow I'm an evildoer? Like, come on, that's not, that's not, you know, that's not.
No speaking from the
Means Committee, the Ways and Means Committee.
If you guys have problems with the process.
No speaking, please, no speaking, please. Unless you wish to be heard again, please come up and identify yourself.
That's ridiculous.
Yes. Representative Everson.
Thank you. Just so the public is aware, the way that the RTM business works, there are specific rules, and it's the moderator's decision when an item goes to a committee. This is $7.6 million. A lot of us are very aware of this need. I will point out that the administration also could have sent this to the RTM when they had the majority last fall. That didn't happen. So if you want to, okay, if you want to point fingers at us, we feel that we are giving the public, the other taxpayers in this town, an opportunity to also speak to us for or against it. We're talking about 30 days. 30 days is not a lot of time. You know, give us an opportunity to do our jobs. Thank you.
First Selectman Cosgrove.
Well, first of all, I just want to address the fact that there is a process, and this project went through a process in terms of I could have sent it, the administration could have sent it in the fall. Well, that would not have been following, we're here debating process, that clearly would not have been following the process, okay? This received its final approvals through the regulatory bodies, and that's important to note. We heard a lot about this received unanimous vote by the Board of Finance. Well, it's also important to note the appropriate regulatory bodies, the Inland Wetlands Commission, unanimous to review this design, unanimous decision in favor. Planning and zoning, with a public hearing, unanimous vote for this project. After we received those, and we had the final cost estimates and that work done, we went to the Board of Education, made a presentation. We know we have a number of projects and a number of initiatives that this town will be undertaking. So the prudent thing to do, knowing the number of this project, it was to present those projects in a public forum where the public is noticed. The appropriating bodies, Board of Finance, could hear what these projects and initiatives that we were looking at in the future. We had the Finance Director review and make a plan, a lot of it built on assumptions but essentially laid out a plan of what the impacts, but how we could address the community's needs, fields being one of them. That was in that plan. That was a very prudent approach. When we approved the Walsh Intermediate School, the Senior Center project, we did that analysis because there was a lot of discussion. Can we do this? How will this impact the town financially? We did that analysis. That is the smart thing to do. That's one thing that we should take a lot of credit for. This town is that we do plan, and we plan for the future, and we address our community's needs. I think what the concern is that we didn't start the clock. You had an opportunity to send it to committee. Representative Brooks mentioned, well, you could have reached out. Well, I did reach out to the moderator right after the meeting, inquiring which committees was this going to be sent to. Would it be Ways and Means, Admin, or Education? I didn't hear back. I found out after that it wasn't going to the committee by another representative. So it was never put on the agenda. Yes, for a number of years and with a number of projects, they did get picked up right off the call of the Board of Finance and went right to committee. That begins the dialogue, the discussion, the deliberation by this body. It could have been re-referred, but what I think is a concern of the community is that we're at a point. 30 days may not seem like a long time and impact it, but it is where we are within the year, right? We're coming on to the construction season. So 30 days does have an impact. 30 days because of the time of the year. The one thing I'll ask, I believe you said March 5th and 6th. When we had large projects before, we've always did joint committees. I think rather than calling out people to come 2 nights out, hearing different things, different questions, I think it would be wise of the committee to hold a joint committee meeting to hear these items. So they're getting the information at the same time, hearing the same questions. So that would be my recommendation rather than doing 5 and 6. But I just, I wish we had started this dialogue a couple weeks ago. We had the opportunity to. Well, let's move on from here.
I don't think
30 days.
Yes, please identify yourself again.
David Felsigno. Again, I apologize for my outburst, but you have to understand the frustration here, okay? By 30 days is a lot, especially in construction terms. It's again, the materials can go up, labor costs go up, construction in general goes up. And the other thing that does is that pushes off all the other projects that Alex is currently working on, i.e. Foot Park, Vets Park, where lacrosse plays down at Young's Pond. You hired somebody for $400,000, I think, $400,000 to do a study. They gave us all these plans that we can do, and obviously I know you're not going to get everything that you ask for, but this is going to delay even the de minimis improvements that we need to do down at the other parks is the longer that this goes on. So it's kind of like a chain reaction, if you will, okay? Especially for the athletics. And sometimes it's going to take even longer. And now we're faced, as the gentleman said, with BOE wanting to charge to use, school fields. So that's going to put us off even more in the hole. So I implore you, please, vote for this. There's three things that shouldn't be a question, and that is youth, the youth of our community, police and fire. So the three things that are on this agenda tonight, I implore you to vote for them on both sides of the aisle. And please, work together and get this done. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Representative Bonenberger.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Representative Bonenberger, tell you a little bit about my background. Played soccer back when it was BIS, Branford Intermediate School. The soccer field back there, which, as you said, it's a golf field, it's always been pretty lousy. Ran through some puddles in my time. Played along on the same team as Frank Vigliotto, actually. Jared Brown and Ian Smith, some of you might know that. Went to Hopkins for prep school. You want to talk about some lousy fields? They're pretty nice now, but when I was there, Hopkins was pretty bad at athletics. The only thing that was any good was the cross-country trail. Went into the Army, been to Ranger School, Recon School, been to some pretty lousy places, hiked around in the mountains. And I can tell you that the most important component of athletics is having good coaches, good parents, believing in teams. I think most of the people here, I'm sure because of the votes, everybody on that side, and because we've been talking about it too, most of the people here are really supportive not just of sports in general, athletics, teams, but Branford sports. Because we're all really proud of this town. It's all a part of us. And our kids, in some cases, our parents. So I just wanted to reassure you that this truly is not a politics thing. The conversations here that we've been hearing, it really is mostly just procedure. This is something that we don't see eye to eye on. We're not trying to slow things down to thwart you. We're trying to do the procedure so the conversation happens a little bit differently. And it's not out of ego. It's not out of, again, wanting to mess things up. It's because that's just kind of how we see things. And maybe that is a difference between red and blue. It makes sense to me. All I wanted to say is, again, it's almost everybody here is pro fields. And that's probably the case with Branford as well. We just wanted to the conversation to happen this way. So thank you for your time. I apologize if I offended you.
Are there any other comments or people from the public wishing to speak under new business on this matter? Okay, hearing none, we will resume our agenda. And we will return to the matters of the registrar, I believe, right? We're going
Moderator,
to... Yes.
are we having a motion to refer or re-refer on this?
It's been referred.
It was already.
But what about that special, anything that Jamie suggested in the meeting?
We will take that up. Who asked the question?
I did.
Well, I couldn't see. We will take that into consideration. It's been referred to both committees. We will talk.
So we need to vote on that here?
No.
To combine it?
No, it's the moderator's discretion.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so are we done with this, everybody? Okay, very good. All right, we are returning now to, where was I?
The registrar.
Yeah, I know, I'm just, okay, I'm going to read again. Okay. This is from Representative Peter Black, the Deputy Registrar, and Registrars Jeff Rowan and Darren Lawler. Per Public Act 23.5, an act implementing early voting, Connecticut will have early voting for the first time in our presidential preference primary. The primary itself will be held Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024. Early voting will be from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on March 26, 27, 28, and 30. No voting will be held on Good Friday, March 29th, which is a state holiday. Per the Public Act, the town's legislative body, i.e. the RTM, must determine whether or not more than one early voting location will be used. Accordingly, we ask that the following item be placed on the next RTM agenda designation of Joe Trapasso Community House as sole early voting location, and that the RTM confirm that Branford will use only one early voting location. So we have had unanimous consent and a motion and a second to place this on the agenda as now item, I'm not even sure anymore, 5. Now, do I hear, it is on the agenda? Do I hear a motion to suspend Rule 441, allowing us to discuss this item on the floor?
Madam Moderator?
Yes.
Just, if I could.
Representative Black.
Excuse me for interrupting, I just want the minutes to reflect that I'm recusing myself at this point.
Okay, thank you very much, Representative Black. Okay.
Peter, before you go, Peter.
Madam Moderator,
Yes, Representative Henschel.
2 points of order. Number one, since we
Use the
have
microphone.
unanimous consent
Excuse me, Representative Henschel, please
I'm
use the
sorry.
mic.
Again, Madam Moderator, since, first of all, we had voted by unanimous consent to put this item on the agenda, we don't need to waive Rule 441.
Okay.
It is on the agenda for discussion, and I hope that before we had a motion, we could ask Representative Black to just present a little bit of detail about this before somebody puts it on the motion.
We have other speakers too, though.
Okay.
Yeah, we have other speakers, okay. So we don't need to suspend Rule 441. So we have the motion to designate the one polling place, and I believe we have Registrar Rowan coming up to speak.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Rohn. I'm the Democrat Register of Voters for the town of Branford. Darren Lawler, who's my counterpart, is, I think, still out on medical. So I will be doing the presentation for the evening. The state of Connecticut, as you know, is, through the Secretary of State's office, is requesting that the legislative body of each town in Connecticut vote on and approve what the Register of Voters office in each town decides to do regarding a early voting location. The town of Branford has approximately, I think, close to maybe 30,000 residents. Only about 21,000 of them are registered, but based on the resident size, we can have more than one voting location. It has been discussed in our office that we felt one location would be appropriate. We are going to use the community house, which we have used for early voting, and also we use that for District 1. We have a location, we have access to the serve system to be able to pull up people's names in the serve system that we use at the office. And it's got the lights, it's got handicap access, a lot of parking and things of that sort. So we decided one location's enough, everyone knows where that location is. And so the state and Secretary of State's office asked that we get approval from you guys. And so that's what I'm really here for, to see if we can all, agree what we're asking, so we get it in the minutes, and then we can send it to the Secretary of State's office, so they keep it on file, stating that the town agreed to what we are proposing.
Okay, thank you. There are some questions. Representative Hartwell.
Thank you. Just a quick question. In the proposal in front of us, it only mentions the days of early voting for the primary, which is in April.
Yes.
But there is
2 more.
There are 2 more coming up, one of which is 10 days for the general election.
That's it's going to be actually 14 days.
14 days.
14 days and then 7
Right.
days. 7
So-
days in
So
September.
the question I have now is, are you planning to only use one location for all early voting? Or are we only talking tonight about the location for this primary in April?
I would like to tell you that, and I've had discussion before, that it is just for early voting for April. Since unfortunately, and I don't mean to get anyone a little concerned here, but the state is still kind of playing with the rules of what early voting is. So every day, we're learning something new. So we're trying to get locked in one location. We're going to hopefully stick with it for the upcoming primary that's going to be in August. Depending on how those go, and usually primaries don't have a big turnout, so one location should be enough. The presidential in October/November may require a second one. I highly doubt it, but as far as I understand, this, what I'm asking from you guys is just for the primary in April.
Representative.
So, Madam Moderator, I don't know, it's my first time being on the RTM, so I'm not sure exactly about the procedure here, but I'd like to amend this motion that's on the table to specify that we're talking about the April primary, and so that we can come back and discuss this after you have some experience running the election.
Representative Ingraham.
Thank you. I think right at the beginning of the statement, it says April 4th. I had earlier concerns that we were talking about all three elections and doing it in one night without the public telling us how they liked it April 4th.
I didn't hear that in the proposal that
Yeah.
the moderator read, and so I want to just make sure that we add that language to the proposal if everyone else agrees, so that we know what we're voting on.
So there is.
Point of procedure, Madam Moderator?
Yes.
Yeah, as far as the
Representative
motion-
Trudeau.
Thank you. Would somebody please read the motion that's
Yes.
before us?
I did read it.
There actually is no motion.
Say it again?
No.
That's right.
No, there's been a suggestion for this item to be in, there's language here for, and I'll read that again. And this would be made into a motion by should be made into a motion by somebody. And then we can, once we do that, we can amend the language, okay? So the proposed motion is the designation of the Joe Trapasso Community House as sole early voting location. And that the RTM confirm that Branford will use only one early voting location. So we need a motion.
I'll make a motion, Madam Moderator.
Okay.
Resolve that the representative town meeting designates the Joe Trapasso Community Center to be the sole voting location for early voting for the presidential primary.
For the presidential primary on those dates?
On April 2nd.
April 2nd.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion. Do we have a second? You seconded? Okay. All right. We have the motion and a second, or is there any discussion?
Yes, point of clarification. I just would like to know if you have to state in the motion what, I think you said before, but this will be for March 26th, 27th, 28th, and also the hours the polls would be open. I mean, does that have to go into the motion as well? Or is it only, the only interest from the Secretary of State is that there's going to be one place to vote it? Is that?
I'd like to turn that over to...
My understanding is, and again, I apologize, I'm kind of, hate to say flying in the fog like you are, is the state has been very stingy with the information. My understanding is they just want to confirm what each town is going to do. And Branford said, we discussed it, and as if you have any more questions, please ask. We've decided that one location, which we've used in the past, is great for, again, for all the things it offers, plus the hours, internet access, and all these other things, and then we're going to stick with one location. They did not ask for days and time, because those days and times are actually locked in. So the town doesn't have to agree to that, but I think they just want to say, you guys, the legislative bodies have agreed with the registered voters office of that town to state we're going to stick with one, or we're going to do 2, 3, 5, or whatever that we suggest. But so it's just one, and it's just location.
Thank you.
I will just read this again. It says, per Public Act implementing 23-5, an act implementing early voting, and in that language are the dates and times.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any discussion on this matter? Any questions for Registrar Rowan? Okay, hearing none. Do we have a vote? This can be a voice vote. All in favor of designating the Trapasso Community House as the sole early voting location for the presidential primary in April? Aye. Say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion. The motion carries. And now yes, thanks. Bring Peter back in. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. That's done. Let's
Thank you.
move on to
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative, Registrar Rowan. Okay, let us move now to what is agenda item 7? 7? 6. It's still 6, okay. To consider and act on the following proposed resolution. A resolution authorizing an a resolution amending a resolution authorizing an appropriation of $325,000 for the police headquarters renovation project and the financing of said appropriation by the issuance of general obligation bonds of the town and notes in anticipation of such bonds in an amount not to exceed $325,000. Therefore, to increase the scope of the project and increase the appropriation and bond authorization therein by an additional $20 million. This item is hereby adopted and recommended for approval by the representative town meeting. This item is going to be referred to Public Services and Ways and Means, and will be heard in their next meetings, okay, which are at this point scheduled for Public Services?
March 7th at 7 p.m.
Okay, and Ways and Means?
March 6th at 7 p.m.
March 6th, and if those changes, those meeting dates change or other arrangements are made, it'll be publicized. Okay. All right, item 7, to consider and if appropriate, approve a request from the fire chief for the following FY24 transfer request from account 101419040-588802 contingency $70,000 to account 1014240-544300 purchase services repairs and maintenance $70,000. This item was heard by Public Services, Ways and Means, sorry.
Thank you, Madam Moderator, John Hartwell. This was addressed at our February 7th meeting. Chief Mahoney and Assistant Chief Kozak were there, made the presentation. We had a long discussion about the state of equipment repair, which is what has brought this on. Apparently, one of the primary people in the department has left who was doing equipment maintenance as well as being a firefighter. And so there's another person who is being trained up to take over that role. But at this point, we are behind in terms of service money to be spent. And so the chief has asked for the $70,000 to carry us through the remainder of this fiscal year. So we also talked at length about other purchases that might be needed in the future. Obviously, that was not on the agenda, but it was part of the discussion. So at the end, we voted unanimously, 5-0, to approve this, the moving of money from one account to the other.
Okay. And your committee report is in the form of a motion?
I guess it is.
Say yes, yes. Okay. All right. Is there any discussion or questions about this transfer from the floor of the RTM? Any comments? No? Okay. So all in favor of approving this transfer, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The item carries. We have done our other business, unless there's other business. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We are adjourned at 9:15 p.m.
This program was brought to you in part through the support of the Town of Branford. Watch town meetings and other videos on demand at BranfordTV.org.